Steph Curry, with his 4 NBA championships and 2 MVP awards, is undeniably one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He's already cemented his legacy as the best shooter of all time. But before he became a household name in the NBA, Steph's college career was crucial in shaping him into the player he is today. But how good was Steph Curry in college, actually? Unlike many players today who are one and done, spending just a year in college before turning pro, Steph's path was different. Coming out of Charlotte Christian School, he wasn't heavily recruited by big schools. Despite his father, Del Curry, having a successful NBA career from 1986 to 2002, Steph was considered too small and not athletic enough for the top programs. He was super skinny in high school, which led to an underappreciation of his skills. Steph had his heart set on playing for Virginia Tech, where his mom, Sonia, and his dad were star athletes. Virginia Tech only offered him a walk-on spot, likely due to his father's legacy there. Del Curry is still second in career points at Virginia Tech. The coach acknowledged Steph's skills, but doubted his size, saying he's too little, going to get pushed around, he's not big enough to play major D1 basketball. Despite this setback, Davidson College saw something special in Steph. Coach Bob McKillop had been following him since early in his high school career, and he knew he had potential. Steph chose Davidson, where he quickly made an impact. Davidson, a small liberal arts school in the Southern Conference, caught wind of Steph through the Charlotte Observer. Coach Bob McKillop and his assistant Mac Matheny drove to watch him play. McKillop recalls, "We watched, we saw, we liked. It was interesting because he missed shots, he made turnovers, he made bad plays, but never stopped playing. The next opportunity he had, he made spectacular plays. He showed real emotional toughness, which is so rare." It didn't take long for McKillop to seal the recruiting deal at Steph's house. At Davidson, Steph found a mentor in McKillop who knew exactly how to unlock his potential. Virginia Tech, Steph's dream school, and other big programs passed on him. Even Duke's legendary coach Mike Krzyzewski missed out on him, admitting later that he overlooked him because of his height. Krzyzewski would later call Steph at Davidson one of the great stories in college basketball. And for good reason. In his freshman year at Davidson, Steph averaged 21.5 points per game, leading all freshmen nationwide. It took some time, but when it clicked, there was no stopping him. Steph's debut was a bit rocky with 13 turnovers at Eastern Michigan, but he quickly bounced back, scoring 32 points, grabbing 9 rebounds, and dishing out 4 assists against Michigan. Performances like that soon became the norm. As a freshman, he scored 20 or more points in 20 games, including 4 games with at least 30 points. In just his 6th college game, he nailed 9 3-pointers against a non-D1 opponent. From mid-January of his freshman year until he left Davidson after his junior year, scoring 25 points in a game was routine for Steph. Steph was second in the nation in scoring among freshmen, behind only Kevin Durant of Texas. On March 2nd, 2007, in the Southern Conference Tournament semifinals against Furman, Steph made his 113th three-pointer of the year, breaking the NCAA freshman season record. He also eclipsed Davidson's freshman scoring record with his 502nd point against Chattanooga on February 6, 2007. In the NCAA tournament, Davidson, a 13th seed, faced 4th seed Maryland. On paper, it was always going to finish one way. Despite Steph scoring a game-high 30 points, Davidson lost 82-70. By the end of his freshman season, Steph was named Southern Conference Freshman of the Year, SoCon Tournament MVP, and was selected to the All-SoCon First Team, All-Tournament Team, and All-Freshman Team. He was also an honorable mention in Sports Illustrated All-Mid-Major Team. After his freshman season, Steph had no rest as he played for the USA team at the 2007 FIBA U19 World Championships, where he averaged over 9 points, almost 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in 19.4 minutes per game, helping Team USA to a silver medal finish. Before he even played his first game at college, head coach Bob McKillop was hyping him up at a Davidson alumni event, saying, "Wait till you see Steph Curry. He is something special." His faith in Steph really seemed to be paying off after an impressive freshman season. He wasn't so small after all. Steph embraced his underrated status, earning the nickname Baby-Faced Assassin. He said, "That underrated kind of mindset, being undersized, it was like a badge of honor at a certain point. You accept it and try to let your game do the talking." His shooting and ability to be a primary offensive option were key. He quickly became Davidson's primary scoring threat and an effective defender. Coach Bob McKillop's system maximized Steph's potential, utilizing multiple picks and sweet passes to get him open shots. His lightning-quick release allowed him to score even with defenders on him. As noted by NCAA.com, we saw Stephen Curry beat up on UNC Greensboro, Chattanooga, and Furman. The country's second leading freshman scorer proved he could handle the Southern Conference. Steph was a mid-major star. Let's reassess because there was nothing mid-major about Steph's game. Tom Sorensen of the Charlotte Observer captured Steph's essence during the 2007 NCAA tournament, where he scored 30 points in a loss to Maryland. Sorensen wrote, "Of course Steph can shoot. He's Del Curry's kid." But Del had very few assists in his career, high school, college, and the NBA combined. Steph, meanwhile, threw a full-speed fast-break bounce pass to Max Paulus-Goslin, who hit the reverse layup to give the Wildcats a 52-44 lead. In his sophomore season, Steph had grown to his full height of 6'2" and led the Southern Conference in scoring with an impressive 25.5 points per game. Thanks to Steph's standout performances, Davidson earned its third consecutive NCAA tournament bid. Davidson's tournament run that year was nothing short of spectacular. Steph literally went crazy in March Madness. On March 21, 2008, they faced off against the 7th-seeded Gonzaga. On paper, this looked like a win for the opponent, but Steph wasn't having it this time around. Despite trailing by 11 points early in the second half, Steph went off, scoring 30 points in the half and finishing the game with 40 points and hitting 8 of 10 from three-point range. Davidson secured their first NCAA tournament win since 1969 with a score of 82-76. Next up was second-seeded Georgetown, ranked 8th nationally and fresh off a Final Four appearance back in 2007. Again, it was a case of Davidson being the underdog. At halftime, Steph managed just 5 points and Davidson was down by 17. But he exploded in the second half, scoring 25 points and leading Davidson to a 74-70 comeback victory. Next was the third-seeded Wisconsin, but this time it was a comfortable win. Steph scored 33 points, propelling Davidson to a 73-56 win and a spot in the Elite Eight. This performance made Steph one of the few college players to score over 30 points in each of his first 4 NCAA tournament games. He also tied the single-season record for the most three-pointers with 158, a record he broke in the next game against top-seeded Kansas with his 159th three-pointer of the season. Against Kansas, Steph and his crew had a chance to write history with Davidson. He scored 25 points, but Davidson narrowly lost 59-57. Kansas went on to win the championship, but Steph's tournament run had already made waves. He finished the season averaging almost 26 points, 3 assists, and over 2 steals per game, with shooting splits of 48% from the field, 43% from three-point range, and 89% from the free throw line, earning him a spot on the Associated Press's All-American Second Team and the title of Most Outstanding Player of the Midwest region. Additionally, Steph was nominated for an ESPY in the Breakthrough Player of the Year category. After his sophomore year, Steph also refined his shooting form, adjusting his release point to shoot more over his head like his father's. Entering his junior season at Davidson after a stellar sophomore campaign, Steph was poised to solidify his legacy even further. As a junior, Steph transitioned from shooting guard to point guard seamlessly, nearly doubling his assist from 2.9 to 5.6 per game. Following Davidson's close loss to Kansas in the NCAA Regional Finals, Steph made the decision to return for his junior year, aiming to hone his skills at point guard in preparation for the NBA. The season kicked off with a bang for Steph. On November 18, 2008, he erupted for a career-high 44 points against Oklahoma, continuing a streak of scoring at least 25 points in 7 consecutive games. Just 3 days later, he showcased his playmaking ability by dishing out a career-high 13 assists alongside 30 points in a dominating win over Winthrop. However, not every game was a highlight reel. On November 25th, Steph was held scoreless by Loyola, his only such game in college and just the second time he failed to reach double-digit points. He bounced back from that, but unfortunately, Steph faced a setback when he rolled his ankle in February 2009, causing him to miss the only game of his college career against the Citadel. Nonetheless, he returned stronger than ever, setting Davidson's all-time scoring record with 34 points in a win against Georgia Southern, reaching a career total of 2,488 points. Davidson excelled under Steph's leadership, clinching the 2008-09 Southern Conference regular season championship with an impressive 18-2 conference record. In the Southern Conference tournament, Steph delivered a historic performance with 43 points against Appalachian State, the third highest total in tournament history. Despite a strong showing, Davidson fell short in the semifinals against the College of Charleston. With no NCAA tournament bid forthcoming, Davidson entered the 2000 NIT as the 6th seed. Steph led the charge with 32 points in a victory over South Carolina, but fell to St. Mary's in the second round, ending his collegiate career with 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. In his final season at Davidson, Steph hit a college career high as he averaged over 28 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals per game, leading the NCAA in scoring and earning consensus first-team All-American honors. Despite opting out of his senior year to enter the NBA draft, Steph remained committed to completing his college degree in sociology, which he achieved in May 2022. Apparently, he promised his mom he would eventually graduate, and he fulfilled that promise, crossing the stage in a cap and gown and finally having his number 30 jersey retired in the Davidson gym rafters. He became the first player to have his number retired alongside entering the school's Athletic Hall of Fame. Why not? I mean, Steph had an incredible run at Davidson, playing 104 games over 3 seasons. He averaged 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, and also logged over 32 minutes per game. His shooting was top-notch, hitting 46.7% from the field and an impressive 41.2% from beyond the arc. Steph left a lasting mark with 2,635 points, ranking 25th all-time in NCAA Division I scoring, and he sits 4th in career three-pointers with 414. Notably, he set the single-season record with 162 threes in the 2007-08 season. After becoming Davidson's all-time leading scorer and three-point leader, Steph declared for the 2009 NBA Draft. Despite the Minnesota Timberwolves having 2 earlier picks, they passed on him, and the Golden State Warriors nabbed him at number 7. This marked the start of Steph's journey from college sensation to NBA superstar, and the rest was history. Do you think Steph gave us the best college performance of all time?